Hi everybody, it's Brandon here from Loop Press. Today we're going to show you how to disassemble and reassemble a Taurus PT140 Millennium. This is not the Millennium Pro. You'll see a lot of videos on YouTube about the Millennium Pro. This is the original Millennium, came out around the year 2000. It's actually the first pistol I ever purchased about 19 years ago when I turned 21. This is manufactured by Taurus in Brazil, imported into Miami, Florida. Is the PT140 40 caliber pistol, and I have had this for quite some time. Operates very well. I've never had a problem out of it, and you can pick up one of these rather inexpensive, but we'll go ahead and show you how to take that apart. Now, of course, what you have here, you have your takedown pin right here, you have your slide catch here, and your safety over here. On the opposite side, you have a loaded chamber indicator, and right here it's raised up a little red, so that does indicate that it is loaded. So we're going to take that off safe, depress our magazine release, take out our magazine. These come with 10 round magazines that have the extender on the bottom so you can grip that better. We'll sit that little guy right over here real quick, and then we'll go ahead and clear the weapon. As we do that, I'm going to engage the slide catch and show that it is all clear. So right now, with this weapon with the slide back, with the slide catch engaged, you'll see that the barrel has a little bit of jiggle in it, but not a lot. So what you can do to go ahead and start the takedown process is you have your takedown pin here. You're going to move that into an up and down position, so it was kind of in line, parallel with the slide. You're going to move that over perpendicular to the slide, and then you're just going to use your fingers to pull that guy out right there. Okay, we'll set this little guy right over here for the time being. Now, you don't want the slide to shoot off as you do this, because you're taking that takedown pin out. So what you're going to do is use your hand, your left hand, if you're like me, hold that slide in place, and you're going to depress that slide release. Now, the weapon will be back at its resting position now, and what you can do, just remove the frame from the top. Now the frame, just a polymer plastic frame, but it does have metal rails here, the slide rails that engage there. We'll set this little guy right over here right now. Now, what you have is the assembled slide. That has a pin and spring system right here that seats into the bottom front of the slide below the barrel. So what we're going to do at this point, now if you can see that, on the barrel assembly here, there's a catch, okay, just like in any other kind of pistol. And that spring and pin seats right up against that catch on the underside of the barrel. So what we'll do, we'll take our forefinger, push that in a little bit, let it out nice and easy, okay? Now, what you see here is that pin and spring assembly. Now this is really important, so I want you all to pay particular attention to this. You have two. You have the smaller one right here. You can just take that apart. We'll sit that little guy right over there. You have the smaller spring, which has two closed ends on it, okay? We'll sit that guy right over here. And then you have the larger spring. Now this one, in this pin, you'll notice there's a hole right down here in the top that the other pin and spring go into. Now as we take that off, there is an open spring. You see where it could prick you, it's an open spring. And then you have a closed end of that spring. It's very important to remember, the closed end of the spring seats into that slide, that bottom part of the slide there. The open end seats on the pin. And you'll want to remember that when you put it back together, it won't go back together properly. So we're going to sit those little guys right over here. And now we have our slide with our barrel in it. So what you could do is, you could see my middle finger here. What I like to do is just push that up. And notice how the barrel is free now. It'll move back and forth. We can just take that little guy right there, pull him out, and you have your barrel. As you can see, the barrel looks very, very nice. And we'll set that little guy right over here. So now you have broken the slide down all the way, except for taking apart this firing pin assembly toward the rear of the slide. We're not going to take that down today, but if you're cleaning this weapon, I like to use Hops number 9, some Q-tips, a wire brush, and a soft bristle brush. And you can clean all that out right there, clean up against the face where the round would seat, and clean that up real nice. So now what we'll do is go ahead and put this back together. You're going to start kind of in reverse order. You get your barrel here. You're going to want to have your barrel catch sticking up. We have our slide upside down. You're just going to reinsert that little guy right there. Use your finger. Move it back and it'll set right down in its original spot. You see, the top of the barrel assembly will sit right there. So now that we have that back together, we will start with our small pin. Just put that little guy right back in there. Then we have our larger pin that has the hole in the top. And remember, the open end of the spring is going to seat against the top of that pin. Then we're going to reinsert the small pin into the larger pin. We're going to seat it at the bottom of the slide, and we're going to depress this with our thumb and put right there in front of the barrel. Okay, so now what we can do is reattach this frame back onto the slide. So we got everything in position right there. We're going to slide that all the way in until it's back at its resting position. So now you see that our pistol is back together except for that takedown pin. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the slide to the rear, re-engage our slide catch, and you'll notice that your barrel is free floating at this point. So what you're going to do, turn this around so you can see it here, is you're going to move this barrel around until you see that hole line up, okay? And that is going to be at about that position right there. What I like to do at this point is using my left hand that's holding the weapon, take my right hand, have my takedown pin in hand, and remember, when we put this back in, it's going to go in perpendicular to the slide, and then we'll twist it to parallel once it's reinserted. So once we have that hole lined up for us, we can see all the way through there, we're going to go ahead and move that little guy back in. And you can wiggle it around a little bit and so forth. And then once you get it back in, you're going to see it's still up a little bit, and once you go and twist that back to parallel, you can pop that thing right back in there, and you put your weapon back together. Notice that barrel is now caught. It's kind of static. It's got a little jiggle in it. But now, do a little functionality check, and your weapon is back in good working order. You can go ahead reload that, get your other round back in there, and that is ready to go. And that, folks, is how you disassemble and reassemble the Taurus PT-140 Millennium, a fine weapon that I've had for a very long time. It is a good carry weapon, 40 caliber, good stopping power, fine shooting weapon. You can pick one up rather inexpensively. If you like today's video, please like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube, Loot Press, and thanks for tuning in today.